Skippyjon Jones by Judy Schachner. Every morning, Skippyjon Jones woke up with the birds. And this did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones. "No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds," she scolded, "or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Miss Doohiggy's bird bath." The lecture went on and on as usual. "You've got to do some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants," said his mother, "about just what it means to be a cat, not a bird, not a mouse or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat. And stay out of your closet," she added, closing the bedroom door. But once he was alone, Skippyjon Jones began to bounce, and bounce, and bounce on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones, and I bounce on my bed, and once or 6 times I land on my head." On his way down to earth from a giant, big bounce, Skippyjon Jones shot past his bedroom mirror. "Holy guacamole!" exclaimed Skippyjon Jones. "What was that?" So up he went again, and it appeared. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "My ears are too big for my forehead. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat. I am a Chihuahua." Back on land, Skippyjon Jones climbed into his toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask and sword and climbed into his mouse, Skippyjon Jones began to sing in a muy soft voice. "My name is Skippy, Skippito, Frisquito, clap clap. I fear not a single bendito, clap clap. My manners are mellow, I'm sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yes indeedo, clap clap." Back in the kitchen, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jillyboo Jones were helping Mama Junebug Jones make lunch. "Can Skippyjon come out of his room now?" asked Jujubee. "No," answered Mama Junebug Jones. "Mr. Flutternutter is still thinking." In fact, Skippyjon wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. With a walk into his closet, his thoughts took him down a lonesome desert road, far, far away in old Mexico. Not long into his journey, a misterioso band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. "Ay, caramba, who goes there?" asked Skippyjon Jones. "We go by the name of Los Chichimingangos," growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. "Who are you?" "I am El Skippito, the great sword fighter," said Skippyjon Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. "Why the mosquito, dude?" asked Poquito Tito. "I go incognito," said Skippito. "Do you like rice and beans?" asked Pintolito. "See, I love mice and beans," said Skippito. "He might be the dog of our dreams," whispered Rosalita. "Perhaps," said Tia Mia, "if he knows the secret password." Leaning toward Don Diego, El Skippito half sneezed, half spoke the secret password into the Chihuahua's very large ear. "Ah, Chupichu!" "I bless you," said Don Diego. "Gracias," said Skippito. "Then it is true," decreed Don Diego. "Yip, yippee, yippito! It's the end of Alfredo Buzito. Skippito is here, we have nothing to fear. Adios to the bad Bumblebeeto." Then all the chimichangos went crazy loco. First they had a fiesta, then they took a siesta. But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great Bumblebeeto for Skippito to see. A hush grew over the chimichangos, so great that one could hear a whisker drop. "Alfredo Bozito," whispered the crowd. "El Blimpo Bumblebeeto Bandito." "Si," said Poquito Tito. "The bandito steals our frijoles." "Not your beans," cried Skippito. Outraged. See, Poquito continued. Red beans, black beans, Boston baked and blue, cocoa, coffee, kidney beans, pinto, and jelly too. And now he comes for us? Poquito asked. ¿Por qué? Asked Skippyjo. Because we are full of beans too. Then Don Diego stood tall and in his most somber voice declared, Yo quiero frijoles. Huh? Asked Skippyjo. The dude just wants his beans back, said Poquito Tito. And you are the dog for the job. Me? Asked Skippyjo. Then all of the chimichangos turned towards Skippyjo, the great sword fighter. But poor Skippyjo had no time to plan, because in the blink of an eye, a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangos scattered in all directions. Vamos, Skippyjo, or it is you, the bandito will ito, they cried. Skippyjo stood his ground, but his legs shimmied and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like the castanets. Then in a muy soft voice, he said, My name is Skippyjo, Frisquito, I fear, not a single bandito. But Alfredo Bozito flew straight for Skippyjo until the bean-eating bandito hovered only inches from the great sword fighter's face. Hole, frijoles, cried Skippyjo as he thrust his sword into the air. Suddenly, pop, went the bandito, landing on Skippyjo's sword, and quicker than one could say chihuahuas, cheese, and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Bozito, the Bumblebito Bandito. Then all the doggies burst into a song. Yip, yippee, yippito, clap, clap. Our hero is El Skippyjo, clap, clap. He's the dog of our dreams who delivered the beans, and now we make our burritos, clap, clap. Back at home, there was such a ruckus coming from Skippyjon's room that Mama Junebug Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down the hall to the kitty boy's room. Banquito, crashito, papito, Skippyjo. Just in time to see Skippyjon's closet exploding. Then out flew Candy, Beanbag, doggies, and the kitty boy with his birthday piñata on his head. Skippyjon Jones, everyone cried. Hola, muchachitas, he said in a muy soft voice. Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippyjon and covered his head with the furry, purry kisses. What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pug? She scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippyjon began to bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones, with a mind of my own, and I'll bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that. Say good night, Skippyjon Jones, called his mama. Buenos noches, mis amigos, said Skippyjon Jones.